Like what we do? Support the channel by becoming a Patreon member. Link is in the description below. Thank you as always, and please enjoy the story!
Slumping his head and sighing with every breath, Ash follows reluctantly behind a much more chipper Serena. Every step he takes in her body is only reminding him of the predicament they find themselves in. Even the slight breeze was wafting his long hair and flapping his bright red skirt. Ash is feeling uneasy with the body swap. He's just not used to being a girl. Having lost to Alakazam, the gang has agreed that the best place for new information is the town down the mountainside. Although Ash agreed, he wasn't too excited about being seen in Serena's body. "Pika!" Pikachu says, trying to comfort him, tapping him lightly on the leg as they walk down the forest path. "Thanks, pal," Ash mumbles, holding his skirt down to stop it from riding up in the breeze. As the gang exit the forest and reach the top of the hill, Serena stops and looks longingly over the edge. Ash ambles up behind her and also looks down. Below them lies the village of Verto. Ash thinks it looks different when viewing it through Serena's eyes. "Don't look so worried, Ash," Serena chirps, moving to stand close to him. "I'm sure someone's got information on its whereabouts. We'll be back in our own bodies in no time." Giving Serena a very quick glance, he continues to look down at the village with worry. "How are we going to do this?" Ash questions, allowing himself to fall to the floor like a sack of spuds. Crossing his legs, he tucks down his skirt to cover himself. Serena then gently sits next to him, and Pikachu sits on his lap. "Do you mean," Serena says, leaning into Ash and resting her head on his feminine shoulders, "are we going to tell people what's happened to us? That we've swapped bodies?" Ash doesn't answer straight away. Instead, he looks up at the evening sky. "I hope that Pokemon is okay," he wonders, now distracted. "The Alakazam?" Serena questions, sitting back up and adjusting the cap on her head. "Yeah," Ash continues. "It must be in some sort of distress. Why else would it be causing all these problems?" Serena shifts herself right next to Ash. "Ash Ketchum!" she blurts out, grinning wide. "Even though you're stuck in my body and worried about how people will react to you being me, you're still more concerned about the Pokemon that did this to us, aren't you?" Ash brushes his hair from his eyes and looks at Serena with worry in his eyes. "I want to understand all Pokemon," he replies, looking back up at the sky. "That's what it means to be a Pokemon master." Serena giggles and blushes. She looks away from Ash as her cheeks turn bright red. "I hope being me doesn't hold you back," Serena nervously mumbles, looking in the opposite direction. "I know you find being a girl strange," Serena continues, feeling tears begin to well up in her eyes. "I know it's a shock, but I'm excited to be you, Ash. I'm excited to learn more about you. I hope it would be the same for you." Reaching over to place a hand on Serena's knee, Ash leans in towards her. "It's just been a real shock," Ash admits, touching his long hair with his other hand. "Being a girl and everything, I just don't feel like myself." Opening up to her, he looks back at the sky and sighs. "I guess if I'm going to be a girl, though," he muses, "I'm glad I've swapped bodies with you, Serena." Serena gives him an excited but curious look. "Oh? And why is that?" she asks, jabbing him playfully in the side. Reacting to her poke in the side, Ash gives Serena a big smile. The first smile she's seen him pull in her body. He mumbles, going bright red. "I just am, okay?" Raising an eyebrow, Serena continues to give him a suspicious look. "You didn't answer my question from earlier," Serena says, staring directly into Ash's big eyes. "Are we telling people, or are we just going to act like each other?" Looking down at his long feminine legs and red skirt, Ash runs fingers through his soft, long hair. He takes in a long breath, then looks at Serena with a smile. "I guess it would be less explaining if we just pretended to be each other, right?" Ash remarks. Serena's face lights up. "I think so too," she quickly replies. "This is going to be so fun. We're going to learn so much about each other." As Ash blushes at Serena's excitement, she then quickly stands and forms fists with her hands. "I'm excited to have my first battle as the great Ash Ketchum!" she yells out over the cliff edge. Thrusting one arm into the air, both Pikachu and Ash stare up at her in disbelief. "Pikachu," Ash then whispers to Pikachu as Serena stands strong with her fist in the air. "Go join Serena. She's going to be your trainer for the time being." Turning to look Ash directly in the eye, Pikachu sees a serious look on Ash's face. Pikachu says, giving Ash an understanding nod. Pikachu then jumps from Ash's lap and climbs up Serena's side until he perches on her shoulder. Shocked, Serena quickly turns to Ash and points at Pikachu sitting on her shoulder. "Are you serious?" she bellows. "Pikachu's going to allow me to be its trainer?" Flicking hair back from his face, Ash gets up and looks Serena in the eyes, giving her a big smile. He nods. "That's right," he answers, reaching up to fist bump Pikachu. "If you're going to be me, Pikachu's going to have to be at your side." Serena's face lights up with a huge grin. "So cool!" she screams, doing a little hop in joy. As she lands back on her feet, she looks at Ash with a warm, beaming smile. "Here," she says softly, holding out her hand. Ash looks down to see Fennekin's Pokeball, and he instantly knows exactly what she's getting at. Taking hold of Fennekin's ball, Ash holds it up to his face and smiles. "I guess you're my partner now," he whispers to the ball. Preparing to set off down the cliffside, the gang hears an explosion in the town below. They both jump in fright and look on in terror as plumes of black smoke bellow into the sky. "Oh my God! Ash!" Serena cries out, pointing down at the building the smoke is coming from. "That's the Pokemon Center!" Not giving it a second's hesitation, the gang starts running down the hillside towards the town. Ash, struggling with his outfit and hair, falls behind Serena. He doesn't call out for her to stop. He knows she's desperate to help in any way she can. He sees she's already doing a great job at being him. He feels a little relief knowing that. Eventually reaching the village, Ash and Serena are panting and wheezing from the run. They both take a second to catch a breath. Crowds of terrified people come tearing past them both. Serena gives Ash a very concerned look as they press forward. Fighting their way through the fleeting crowds, they eventually come face to face with the burning Pokemon Center. Watching the firefighters and their water Pokemon tackle the blaze, Ash notices Pokemon still trapped inside the building. "Serena, look over there!" he cries out, pointing at the Pokemon trapped. "The fire crew haven't seen them. We've got to do something to rescue them!" Turning her cap backward, Serena looks at Ash with a glint in her eye. The two of them rush toward the burning building. Neither of them was concerned for their own safety. They only had concern for the Pokemon inside. Reaching the glass door to the side of the building, Serena peers inside and struggles to see a safe way through the thick black smoke. Desperate, Serena looks back at Ash for help. "How are we going to get in?" she screams. Shaking his head, Ash frantically looks around. With everything that's happening, he finds himself unable to think straight. "I don't know, Serena. This is all too much!" he yells back, over the sound of the blazing building. Feeling distressed, Ash feels a sense of relief as he thankfully spots a way in. "There!" he screams, in such a high-pitched feminine voice. "Look up there! There's a skylight!" Instinctively reaching for his belt, Ash wants to call on Fletchinder. Patting the side of Serena's skirt, where his belt would be, Ash lets out a huge sigh. "Oh, right," he groans, feeling pretty silly. "I'm not Fletchinder's trainer anymore." "I see it!" Serena calls back, not noticing Ash's failure. "I've got an idea!" Swiftly pulling Fletchinder's Pokeball from her belt, Serena calls on it as it appears in the sky. Feeling an instant connection, Serena quickly commands Fletchinder to rescue the Pokemon trapped inside. As Ash and Serena gaze at Fletchinder's heroism, it makes light work of pulling the two Rattatas from the building. Glancing in Serena's direction, Ash is left in awe at how quickly she commands his Pokemon. A fleeting worry enters his mind as he considers the fact she might be a better Ash than him. Fletchinder gently places the two rescued Pokemon onto the floor. Serena wastes no time scooping the injured Pokemon into her arms. "Thanks, Fletchinder! Return!" Serena yells. Ash goes bright red as he looks on in amazement at how confident she's becoming in his body. He can't help but feel he's being left behind. Letting out another long sigh, Ash is so very perplexed at how well Serena is taking to being him. He really does feel like she's doing a better job of being him than he does. "We've got to return these Pokemon to Nurse Joy," Serena commands, running back to the street. "Right," Ash quickly replies, following on behind her like a superhero sidekick. Running back around the front of the building, the fire crews are still tackling the intense blaze. Several large Blastoise and other water Pokemon are desperately working side by side with the humans to deal with the disaster. "Ash!" Serena yells, pointing at a small Pokemon Center van. "Looks like Nurse Joy is treating Pokemon over there." Just as he watches Serena rush off towards the van, Ash sees something out of the corner of his eye. Brushing Serena's long hair from his face, he looks up into the sky. "Team Rocket!" he angrily grumbles, seeing their hot air balloon moving off into the distance. "I just knew they'd have something to do with this."